Hello YouTubers and coffee lovers. Welcome to my channel. I just wanted to do a quick video to prove that you don't have to spend a lot of money in order to get a half-decent cup of coffee. So let's just get started. If you like this video and you want to see more, like and subscribe. Dollar store coffee is not for everyone. Of course, everyone is welcome, but if you're a coffee connoisseur or somebody looking for the best tasting coffee, this video is probably not for you. This is about getting a half-decent cup of coffee at a bargain price. The coffee will probably not be fresh. Who knows how long this coffee has been sitting on the store shelf? Most people aren't drinking it, so it's more likely that it won't fly off the shelves and get replaced as quickly as at a regular store. So just be ready for stale coffee. The taste will most likely be bitter. To save money, the coffee has probably been cut with lower cost, bitter tasting Robusta beans. Don't expect great over-the-top flavor here. Dollar store coffee is not a replacement for a great coffee brewed right. Nothing can beat the taste of freshly brewed, freshly ground coffee. You can't get that sensation from cheap dollar store coffee, so don't even bother. This method is just the way I like it. This video shows how I like to brew my dollar store coffee, but it can be made any way you prefer. This is just an experiment, and it's not a recommendation. I do not recommend dollar store coffee to anyone, but if you like to experiment like I do, then this might be an option for you. Okay, this is the story of how I make my dollar store coffee. First I start with filtered water, 2 cups. And I just have a jug that I keep refilling out of my Brita filter system. There's 2 cups. Okay, next I pour the 2 cups of water into my Melita electric kettle because I'm going to boil it that way. It takes about 5 minutes. And it's pretty easy. Next I measure out 20 grams of coffee, dollar store coffee. Gotta tear out my scale. Okay, there's 11 grams. And that is exactly 20 grams. Okay, this is just a shot of the 3 spoons that I'm going to use. I have a tablespoon right here, just a regular tablespoon, and then I have 2 teaspoons. And you'll see how I use that later. Okay, my water's just coming to a boil, which I'm sure you can hear. Now, that click is the sound. The reason why I like the Melita pot is because it clicks and then I know everything's up to temperature. Now I'm just priming that filter like I said it was going to do, and it's pouring into the cup at the bottom. Now you see how the filter is getting wet, but it's also going down into the cup, so it's also heating up the cup as I do it. So now I'm just going to take that and I'm going to put that into my sink. And now in the cup you can see that I have some water in the bottom, and that's just going to warm up that cup. I'm just going to leave it in there for a couple seconds, and then I'm going to pour that out because that now has the taste of the filter, so I've gotten rid of that aspect. Okay, now we're going to get to the coffee brewing part. So I've got my 20 grams of coffee, in a fine grind, and I'm just going to put it into my filter. There we go. Just make sure I get everything. That's all in there. Then I take my grounds and I shake it around, and then I take my tablespoon and I just hollow out a little spot at the bottom there. I learned this off of a barista on YouTube that was showing how he does pour over in his shop. And before I do anything, I'm just going to pour the exact amount of coffee that I need in order to do this pour over. That just goes right into this cup, right up to the top. And then I just take that and I'm going to pour the whole thing into this Pyrex cup. So I have a pour vessel now. And then I take my coffee, my pour over coffee, and I adjust the filter a little bit. Now this part is really important because it's just going to introduce the water to the grounds. And you're going to see there's going to be some off-gassing. If the coffee doesn't off-gas, okay, so that's enough. And it's just going to be in there for a few seconds just to get the coffee grounds wet. That's a very important first step because that way the coffee is getting exposed to the hot water. Okay, so that's gone down, and now I'm just going to add some more, and just enough so I can take my tablespoon here, and I'm just going to use the back side of it, and I'm just going to do this 4 or 5 times. That's what this barista showed, and it really is a good way of doing it. There we go. And you don't want to go too high. This is a slower process, and you want to expose the coffee for as long as you can to the hot water. And that's the purpose of this. And it really does end up giving you a superior brew. So now I'm just going to wait for that to go down a little bit before I add some more water. This should take altogether about 3 or 4 minutes. Okay, now that's gone down. So now I'm going to add some more, just slowly. And you can see it's still off-gassing, which is a good sign that the coffee's relatively fresh. Like I said, just don't do things too much in a hurry because that's how you don't get the full flavor of the coffee. Mind you, this isn't great coffee. It says it's Arabica, but it also has some of the other beans in there. Forget what they're called right now, but they're not the best beans. They're the bitter beans. But this is a mocha blend, so it has like a chocolatey type of a thing. And doing it this way, I find that it's actually pretty good. This coffee, by the way, cost $1.25 Canadian, which probably is 75 cents or $1 in the United States for something similar. So we have this Canadian dollar, which is like really flat right now. So anyway, I digress. And there we go, it's coming down to the bottom. So now I'm going to add a little bit more. And like I said, you don't want to do this quickly. The temptation, because people are used to instant coffees and things like that, they just throw in their coffee, throw in their hot water, mix it up, and away they go. And that's not the case here. This is going to be a good cup of coffee, trust me. Yeah, so far everything's going pretty good. But this is a one-hole Melita pour-over cup. and it works really, really great. I've got a 3-hole, which I thought would be faster, but in fact, the single-hole Melita is faster than the 3-hole Perfect Cup, which I have, which I'll show you sometime. So you can see that the whole process is taking a fair amount of time, but that's good. Okay, so now we're just coming down to the last little bit, and I've only got a little bit of water left, and I'm going to see if I can pour the whole thing in there. I just have to be careful not to pour in too much. And there we go. Now, this is just the last little bit here, and there's just a little bit of hot water left in the kettle, and I'm going to pour it into the Pyrex because that's filtered water, that's excellent water, and I'm going to pour that back into my jug. Then I just pour that out, and I leave the top open because that way I'm going to dry it out. Now that's going to go down, and after it does, I'm going to empty the grounds, and then I'm going to show you how I season this. But right now, once this is finished, you're going to have a really nice cup of black coffee if that's what you want. Me, I like to put a couple of things in it. Alright. Okay, now this is just finishing up. You can see that the water's just slowly going down into the cup below, and now it just looks like a little pile of mud, which is exactly what you want. Looks kind of chocolatey actually, but that's the end of it. And if I take this off and put this in the sink, which I'm going to do right now, then you'll see that I have a beautiful cup of coffee, which I can drink if I want. But just hang on, and I'm going to show you what I put into this. Okay, here's what I'm going to put into it. You see I have some fresh whipping cream, 35% milk fat, and that's what I use to do my coffee because it won't affect my my ketosis. One of the things that I'm doing also is I'm losing some weight, and you want to have as much fat as you can in what you're doing. So that's one of the things that I'm going to put in. The other thing that I'm going to put in is this 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla extract, pure vanilla extract. And that's going to go in, that's going to flavor that coffee just a little bit. I found that to be quite nice. Okay, here comes my 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla extract. There we go. Just be careful. You don't want to put too much in. It's very strong. So if you put too much in, you're going to ruin your cup of coffee, which you don't want to do. But a 1/4 teaspoon I found to be perfect. Now the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take one of my teaspoons, which I set aside before, and I'm going to pour 2 teaspoons of this whipping cream into my coffee. I'm a right-handed, so here it goes. There's 1 and 2. And I'm going to stir that around a little bit. First I'm going to put this back in the fridge so it stays. Then I just stir that around a little bit, get it all mixed in there. And now I'm going to put 2 heaping teaspoons of stevia powder, which is actually very cheap, which I got. It's about $5 for 2 pounds, and it's excellent. It looks like coffee creamer, but it's not. So there's 2 heaping teaspoons, and then I mix that around. And stevia is really good because it contains no calories and there's no sugars in it, so you can't get fat off of it. This coffee you won't get fat off of. You'll get all your caffeine and all the flavor, but without any bad stuff. So then I'm just going to take that and put that aside. And now the very last thing that I like to do, because I have this stirring stick, automatic stirring stick, uses a couple of AA batteries. I just take that and I'm going to put a little head on it, but it also mixes up all the coffee into a beautiful thing. So it puts on a little bit of a frothy head. I got this stick for $1 at the thrift store. So anyway, there's my cup of coffee, all done and ready to drink. And let's see. Oh, that's nice. Okay. So there you have it, my favorite way to brew dollar store coffee. If you enjoyed this video, like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. What about you? Have you ever tried dollar store coffee? Would you even consider trying it sometime? Leave your comments below, and I'll read and respond to each and every one. Bye for now.